Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of Property Focus. Glad you could join us once again. Today we are going to have a bit of an uncomfortable chat, and it centers around property and death. Yes, property and death. What happens in the event of the death of somebody in the family or in our circles that owns property that is to be passed on to someone else. Okay, I thought we should dig into that today and just familiarize ourselves with the ins and outs of that. All right, so when a person dies that owns property and said property is in their ownership, and at the point of their death, the certificate of title, if it is a titled property, is in their ownership. In the event of inheritance, would be a child or a relative or what have you. There are certain processes that happen for that property to change hands. It's also the same in the event of that property needing to be sold. So for instance, if I died today and my children wanted to sell a property that I left behind that was at the time of my death, registered in my name, legally registered in my name, that is, certificate of title and everything in my name, there would be certain processes or procedures that would need to happen before that property can exchange hands. Okay, so very quickly, that's what I thought we should delve into today. So in the event of death, you will have an administrator to the estate appointed. Okay, if the man is married, usually it's a wife and a child, usually the first child, right? At least in our jurisdiction. If it's a woman that's married, same thing. Usually the spouse and a child, maybe a firstborn child that is appointed to administrate their estate. Okay, so what would typically happen in those instances is the administrators to the estate are to go to the High Court of Zambia, where they will be given certain documentation that would then allow them to administer that property, either to themselves or to other kin within that family. Okay, so that documentation that you obtain in the event of death of a property owner for property looking to change hands to somebody else is called a probate. Okay, so you get a probate from the court, which is basically a document that allows you to transact on that property on behalf of a deceased person. So you get the probate, and the probate is then what you use to transact on that particular property for it to change hands. I'm bringing this up because it's a seemingly straightforward issue, but sometimes you come into situations or situations where there is confusion around how that is supposed to happen. Because people would think that you sell a property like that the same way you would a property that's just moving from one hand to the next, but it's really not. And because of that, there tends to be quite a lot of back and forth between people and so on and so forth. Not just that, also for your understanding of the cost implications to the transaction, it's a lot different than you would in a straightforward property transaction, in that you would have to cover certain costs to obtain those documents, and then possibly ideally you want to change title from the previous owner to a new owner before the transfer is made, or you want to transfer it directly from the previous owner, who is the deceased, to a third party, right? In this case, somebody outside of the family looking to acquire that property. So just a nuance there that's worth keeping in mind. In the case of property belonging to a deceased person. Okay, Other things to think about. Well, so you will obtain the probate, okay, and then there will be accompanying documents. As you look to do the transaction, there will be accompanying documents. There will be documents that you would be required to sign from the Ministry of Lands that will then be asked to be signed off by the administrator to the estate before consent can be obtained to enable that transaction happen. Okay, so very quickly there, very brief. I thought we should touch on that today. You all have a lovely day, and always remember to subscribe if you're here for the first time. If you're not, thank you for subscribing. Do spread the word and get others to come in and subscribe as well, so we can keep giving you more of this content. Cheers, until the next time.